Welcome to the deep dive. So today we're doing something a little different. Instead of wading through, lots of different sources, we're really focusing in. We're looking at the sheer weight of one single idea. It comes from the title of the source material you sent us.
Yeah, it's a fascinating challenge, actually. The title is The Golden Age of MTV, When Music Videos Changed the World of Music.
And it's not just describing something, is it? It's making a huge historical claim. So our job today is to unpack that. What does it really mean for a medium like the music video to cause such a fundamental, world-changing shift in something as massive as the music industry?
Right. That phrase, changed the world of music, it's carrying a lot of weight there. And when you call a time the golden age, well, that implies more than just popularity, doesn't it? Or like making money. You're pointing to a peak moment, a kind of cultural high point, where the thing the music video really perfected what it did and had its biggest impact, causing this irreversible change in how the whole industry worked. Exactly. Before we even get into the specific ways it changed things, we kind of have to grapple with that core idea. Music was never the same again. It stopped being enough for success to just be about sound, about what you heard on the radio. What the source title is saying is that this was the moment the visual part became, essential. You couldn't really break through globally without it.
Okay, let's dig into that then. This shift from sound first to needing this visual element, that's a big conceptual jump. But what were the actual, tangible effects? Because changing the world has to mean more than just like wearing cool outfits in a video. It surely has to mean real economic and structural changes happen.
Oh, absolutely. It definitely does. I think the first huge structural shift was how record labels had to completely reallocate their resources and where the power lay. See, before this golden age, the big money went into recording, mastering, getting songs on the radio. But when MTV just exploded onto the scene, suddenly it wasn't the single anymore that was the main promotional tool. It was the video.
And that's where it gets really wild, doesn't it? Because it means the budget for just one promotional video could sometimes be as much as, or maybe even more than, recording the entire album. That's a crazy shift in where the money's going. The labels needed whole new departments, right? Focused on visuals, not just audio engineering.
Yeah, precisely. And that created a whole new layer of cultural gatekeepers.
Yeah.
Power shifted. Before you had the radio programmers, the A&R guys listening for the sound. Now suddenly the music video directors, the TV execs deciding what got played on MTV, they held enormous power. So you had this kind of democratization in some ways, but also this centralization around the visual. And that created a lot of tension, I imagine.
But okay, was that entirely a good thing? I mean, if videos became essential, didn't that also maybe restrict creativity a bit? Like, you're saying that to get famous worldwide, an artist basically had to boil down their entire artistic statement into a 3 to 5 minute film. That sounds pretty limiting in a way.
That's a really important point. Right. And the source seems to suggest that maybe that constraint was actually part of the transformation. It kind of forced a new way of communicating aesthetically. The song structure itself often had to bend to fit the video story. So the art form that really grew wasn't just the music, but this whole new field of short, punchy visual storytelling.
Okay, so let's shift gears a bit, away from the money and structure, more towards the art and culture side. If the old world favored bands that, just sounded amazing, who were the big winners in this new visually focused era?
Well, I think the artists and genres that really benefited were often the ones who didn't quite fit the standard radio mold. Think about early hip-hop maybe, or some of the really visually distinct new wave acts. Their music wasn't always an easy fit for the strict playlists on mainstream radio back then. But their look, their style, their dance moves, the stories they told visually, that stuff was perfect for the quick, eye-catching format of music videos.
That's a great point. So the music video sort of acted like a cultural shortcut or a bypass. It let artists get these complex, maybe unconventional ideas and look straight to a huge global audience, kind of going around the filter of, say, more conservative local radio stations.
Exactly. And that ties into another massive shift, the rise of the artist as brand. Before this era, mostly, an artist was known for their songs, their music. But after the MTV Golden Age, the artist became this whole package deal. They weren't just selling sound anymore. They were selling fashion, a lifestyle, an attitude, all wrapped up in this carefully crafted visual story.
Yeah, the video made the artist's whole identity instantly understandable and replicable everywhere. You didn't just hear the song, you immediately got the context, the look, the whole vibe. It just normalized this idea that, to be a huge star, you needed a really clear visual brand.
And that standardization The typical 3-minute story, the high production values, the focus on performance, the visual effects, that's what really cemented the change. The music world collectively realized that huge success now meant huge visibility.
Yeah.
And the music video was the tech that delivered that visibility most effectively.
So if we zoom out even further, this whole process, it really sped up cultural globalization, didn't it? All of a sudden, trends starting in, say, London or New York could be picked up almost instantly by kids in Tokyo or Berlin, all thanks to the standardized visual package.
Absolutely. That repeatable, high-impact little cultural artifact, the video can travel the globe.
Yeah.
It instantly communicated the artist's whole vibe, their message, often bypassing language barriers or local radio tastes. Yeah, the music video was an incredibly powerful engine for spreading culture quickly across borders.
So, okay, bringing it back to you listening. Why should you care about this specific period, the golden age of MTV? Yeah, we're talking music history, but the way things change feels really relevant to, well, all media today, doesn't it?
I think it's the perfect case study in media convergence. That's the key takeaway. It basically trained audiences, us, to expect sound and image to come together, to see them as inseparable, really, for anything aiming for big commercial or cultural impact. That combination, it wasn't just a bonus anymore. It became fundamental for success.
And if you just look around today, I mean, that lesson is everywhere, isn't it? Every single platform, streaming, social media, those short video apps pretty much demands visuals to go with any audio. The music video didn't just change music, it fundamentally retrained how generations of people consume media. We now expect, even demand, that visual element.
Right. It normalized the idea that if you're putting anything creative out there, the way it looks is just as important, maybe sometimes even more important than how it sounds. The source material really flags this. This is the moment the rule book for media consumption got rewritten. It demanded this sort of cinematic thinking from almost everyone creating anything.
Yeah, the whole world of music just expanded during that time, didn't it? To include costume design, complex choreography, actual narrative storytelling, specific film techniques, all crammed into these little 3 or 4 minute visual bursts. It feels like the birth of the modern media package we're still living with.
It really does. The transformation was total. You went from an industry primarily focused on sound, on the sonic achievement, to a multimedia beast where visual spectacle often dictated how far something could reach. That's the real weight behind that claim. Change the world of music.
This has been, a really interesting deep dive. We went from just unpacking a title to looking at the real-world economic, artistic, and cultural ripples, thinking about what a golden age means and how making visuals mandatory really did reshape music production and consumption across the globe.
Which leaves us with a final thought for you to maybe chew on. If the music video, a medium built around visual marketing and storytelling, was powerful enough back then to genuinely change the world of music, what platform or format today, right now, might be having a similar kind of world-changing effect on culture? What new thing is forcing another fundamental, maybe non-optional shift in how we make and consume creative stuff?
Definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.